So all of this was so unexpected, everything that happened at the end of my pregnancy. So I was waiting and waiting, and I had all of this plan mapped out of when baby was going to come. I was going to go to the Easter Nationals and also the Level 10 Nationals, and I was going to go to all of these, events post-delivery, and nothing worked out. So at the end of my pregnancy, I started to, feel that pressure of, okay, baby needs to come. I have these plans here. I need to go to the Easterns for Level 9 and then the Nationals for Level 10. And people thought I was crazy to try to plan it out, but I'm just a planner. That's how life is sometimes for me. And I like to be organized. And if I could make it all work, this was my ultimate dream. And so nothing like that happened. I ended up being induced. And the due date was May 9th, but I ended up being induced on May 2nd, and it was a Monday. And that was a whole long day ordeal. Monday morning at 7 a.m., I was at the hospital, ready to go. Baby was not coming on her own. She needed a little bit of assistance. And slowly but surely, we just started to take that course. And Mike was with me the whole time, and getting all the medication and epidural and getting everything to start moving in the right direction because baby was posterior and she was not rotating.
When we arrived to the labor delivery unit, we had been there before, but it had been over a decade. And of course, there's excitement, there's anticipation, there's a little bit of nervousness. The OBGYN on call stated that it would be safest for the baby and for Dominique to undergo an emergency section, which she did at approximately midnight on May 3rd. Following the arrival of Victoria, she arrived very cute, chubby cheeks, everything we had hoped for. But it wouldn't be long before we realized that this would not be the smooth sailing ride that we had intended.
So we found out that Victoria had a little bit of jaundice, so she had to be put under some light so she could, her bilirubin count was a little high, so we got that calmed down in the few days, so that's why I also couldn't leave. And in a way, hindsight is 20/20, right? So you look back and wonder, why did all of this happen? Well, by day 3 or 4, when I had the blood transfusion and my milk all of a sudden started coming in, which was great, I was able to feed Victoria very well after that. But by Friday, we're getting ready to go, our bags are packed, and all of a sudden, Mike and I can't wait to get home, take our little girl home. They did the final screening that every newborn has, and usually they're states, and it's a congenital heart screening. We didn't know that, they did this as a routine procedure of, measurement, and all of a sudden, here somebody comes in, and there was something that they had to tell us, and they mentioned, something came back not so great with that final screening.
At this point, we're in a bit of disbelief. Here we have a healthy appearing baby. We intended to bring her home. We had her stroller, all of her cute outfits that we were going to place her in and take photographs in. We were ready to give her her first bath at home, introduce her to her siblings and our dog Willow. And before you know it, we are with critically ill children in a pediatric intensive care unit. We are told by the cardiologist and his fellow that Victoria has a cardiac condition called TAPVR, total anomalous pulmonary venous return, which is a congenital heart defect in which the pulmonary veins are not properly connected to the left atrium of the heart. That dramatically affects the way that oxygenated blood is placed and circulated throughout her body. And they stated that open heart surgery would be the only way to remedy this problem. Now, as a medical professional, I feel that I was more prepared than most. There have been times where the doctor has become the patient, in the case when I underwent an emergency appendectomy. However, when the doctor's newborn child has to undergo urgent, very serious surgery, nothing can really prepare you for that. In fact, those are the times where you have to break free of the binding of the robes of negativity and really remove yourself from the situation. If you had asked me a year ago how I would deal with finding out that my child needed emergency open heart surgery, I'm not so certain that I would have handled that news very well. So as you go through these trials and tribulations of life, it oftentimes causes you to extend beyond what you thought you were capable of. And so when we arrived in Columbus, there was a sense of calm that washed over both of us. I don't know if that was the prayer, I don't know if that was the positive energy that people were sending our way, but there really was this placid feeling, despite the fact that our child was going to undergo emergency open heart surgery. She had just been life-flighted via helicopter from a world-renowned facility now to another facility 2 hours away. But I have to say that we were very composed. I don't know if it was a meditative state that we were in, but we were very composed and felt very confident in the team that was taking care of our child.
Had she not had this operation, she could have been a SIDS candidate, which is called sudden infant death syndrome. And that's when babies who have these undiagnosed heart conditions, they die in their sleep. And had she not had the operation when she did, and actually the surgery had to be moved up because her heart was so enlarged on the one side and so much pressure was on it, that they moved up her surgery a few weeks. And we had it over Memorial Day weekend. So that Saturday morning, she goes in, and Mike and I both had this peace come over us. It was really interesting. The hospital had this app that would tell us what was going on through surgery, and they would send us videos. They even have a video they sent us with her heart pulsing, and it was open, and it was like boom, 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 boom. And it was so wild to see that so vividly. But every process, every step of the way, she's doing well. And that gave us peace while you're waiting. You're sitting there and waiting for the operation. It could be 3, 4, hours depending on how it goes. But the doctor had called us back right away and said, hey, we see something else right when they'd started. And Mike and I were originally like, well, they don't usually call you back and ask for permission to take care of something else. But I guess they saw something on 3D imaging that they wanted to take care of as well. So post-operatively, she had a better chance of healing, something else they found. So they ended up fixing another issue in her heart area. It was the aorta. They wanted to open it up a little because it was really compressed and squeezing. So they were worried about flow through in and out of that area. And so we okayed it, we approved it, then we went back to the waiting area, and then they sent us, information and updates to this app, which made us really feel at peace.
Here you are, handing your newborn over to a team of strangers as they wheel her back for open heart surgery. And I felt immediately comfortable. The compassion, the tenderness at which the nurses, physicians dealt with Victoria really made us feel comfortable with them. And so she undergoes her operation, which is approximately 6 hours in length. And again, when we think back to that time, I always think back to IV lines, chest tubes, beeping monitors, oxygen saturations, and a number of caregivers coming in and out of the room to check on our daughter. But really, it was a victorious, triumphant story. Here we have a child who was critically ill, who was not going to survive and see her second month of life. And now you have this group of people that worked hard to make sure that the mechanical and electrical components of her heart were going to give her a second lease on life. This team, who again I will be eternally grateful for, allowed us to have memories that we would not otherwise have had she not had this surgical intervention. 4 months prior to Victoria's birth, I suddenly lost my father, my hero, who I'd never seen sick a day in his life. And so we had one life experience ending and a new life experience beginning that we were looking forward to. Without a doubt, I believe that my father was there with us during that time. I believe that he was in the operating room watching over, helping to guide the surgeon's hands and the operative team's hands during her intervention.
Oh, Victoria's, been a fighter from day one. She had no choice. She's a smiley, loving little baby. She's happy. And it's just so wonderful to see how the families come together to love her and nurture her back to health. I think all of that love has certainly helped her heal faster. There's no doubt in my mind that love heals. Of course, we're going to introduce Victoria to gymnastics. She's already walking on the beam with her feet in a straight line. Like, I couldn't even believe it when I put her on the beam and I just held her arms just for fun to see if she would walk. She's already walking with one foot in front of the other in a straight line. I couldn't believe it. And she's only like 6 months, and she did this like a month ago. So it's just kind of funny to see what she's going to gravitate towards. Of course, we introduce all of our kids to gymnastics. If they want to do it and pursue it, it's up to them. But in a way, you're kind of like, it's a natural progression when a parent owns a gym to kind of put them in it for a while, see if they like it. It builds a great foundation for anything they choose to do. But we have high hopes for her. I think she's really going to like it, and that's what we hope anyway. And if she doesn't, that's okay. She'll find her own way and her own path, and we're going to support her no matter what.
Victoria's name, Victoria Olympia, lets us know that she was already ordained for greatness. But you can really see the fighter in her. When we brought her home for her first bath at home, she put her fists up just like this, like a fighter, had her dukes up. And that's really the moment where I said, this name was absolutely appropriate for our little girl. As I said, losing my father and going through that grieving process has certainly been easier due to the fact that I feel that my father in many ways lives through Victoria. He is here with us, living through her. And so it's very difficult to have a bad day when I'm with my daughter and when I think of her. It's very easy to change my mood when I think about her.